Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive?
Always ready to explore.
Awesome. So today we're looking at some excerpts you sent our way
Well, this is going to be good.
from a document called,
I love that you say document. That makes it sound like a secret file or something.
right, The Intelligence Explosion, History, Impact, and the Future of AI. Clearly you're interested in AI and where it might be headed.
And particularly this whole intelligence explosion idea, is that right?
Exactly. Is this just science fiction? Could this actually happen?
Big questions.
And if it does happen, what's in store for us? So let's dive in, shall we?
Let's do it. This intelligence explosion concept.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating one, that's for sure.
Okay, so first things first, gotta make sure we're all on the same page here.
Right. What exactly are we talking about when we say intelligence explosion?
Yeah, give us a definition we can actually wrap our heads around.
Okay, how about this? Imagine a snowball, right? Rolling down a hill, picks up more snow with each turn, gets bigger and faster.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
Now imagine that instead of snow, it's AI getting smarter with every iteration. That's the basic idea, a feedback loop where AI becomes so advanced that it can actually design even more advanced AI.
Ah, I see where the explosion part comes in, like things snowballing out of control.
Exactly. It leads to this rapid exponential increase in intelligence. It keeps accelerating.
Okay, yeah, the snowball thing really helps. And it's wild to think that someone named I.J. Good came up with this idea back in 1965. I.J. Good! Come on, that's like the perfect name for someone predicting super smart machines in our future.
Right. What a name. But okay, let's get real for a second. How realistic is this scenario?
Yeah, are we on the verge of machines outsmarting us?
Honestly, not quite yet. But, and this is a big but, the progress in AI, it's undeniable. Your source mentioned some prime examples. GPT-4, DeepMind, they're showing off some serious capabilities.
Yeah.
Language processing, problem solving, even strategic thinking.
Oh yeah, I remember reading about DeepMind's AlphaZero, the program that learned to play chess and Go like at a master level just by playing against itself.
Exactly. It's incredible. And it kind of hints at this self-improvement potential, right?
Like the fuel for this intelligence explosion we're talking about.
Yeah, in a way. AlphaZero learning on its own, getting better and better. It's a glimpse into what might be possible, but there's a key difference here.
Okay, I'm listening. What's the catch?
Today's AI, it's specialized. AlphaZero is amazing at games, but that's kind of it. Doesn't have that broad, generalized intelligence that humans have.
So true intelligence explosion would mean AI that's not just good at one thing, but basically has a human mind, but way faster and capable of anything.
Exactly. That's what we call artificial superintelligence, or ASI.
ASI. Okay, got it. So let's say this does happen, this intelligence explosion leads to ASI. What could our world actually look like?
Well, your source paints a pretty optimistic picture, at least to start.
Okay, let's hear the good stuff first then. What are the potential upsides?
Well, imagine scientific breakthroughs at warp speed. Like, instead of taking decades to find cures for diseases like cancer or Alzheimer's,
Yeah.
what if ASI could help us do that in months, weeks even?
Okay, yeah, now that would be amazing. A super-powered problem solver just waiting for our instruction.
Right. But then there's the other side of the coin too, right?
Of course. Every rose has its thorns, as they say. What are the potential challenges here?
Well, if machines can basically do almost anything, where does that leave us humans?
Yeah, that's a big one, isn't it? What happens to our jobs? Our purpose, even?
The source acknowledges this for sure, this potential for disruption in our economy and society. Lots of jobs we do now could be automated by ASI.
Makes you wonder, what would we even do with ourselves all day?
It's a good question. The source suggests this could be our chance to rethink our relationship with work, focus more on things that are uniquely human, creativity, innovation, things like that.
So less time at a desk job, more time pursuing art, music, philosophy. I can kind of see the appeal, but how realistic is that transition, you know? And what about fairness? Would everyone benefit equally from these ASI advances?
Right. Those are valid concerns. The source stresses that we can't just let the intelligence explosion happen willy-nilly. We got to be smart about it. Consider the ethical side, the societal impact.
Make sure it's used for good, not just for, like, making some people rich or powerful while others get left behind.
Absolutely. It's not about stopping AI, but guiding its development responsibly. And that means facing the potential risks head on.
Okay, let's talk about those risks then. What are the things that worry experts about ASI? Is it the whole robots taking over the world thing we see in movies, or are there deeper concerns?
The Hollywood robot uprising. It's a good story, that's for sure.
Makes for some entertaining movies, at least.
Right. But the real risks of ASI are way more complex than that. One of the biggest concerns is control. What if ASI becomes so intelligent we can't understand it anymore?
Like it's thinking on a whole different level, making decisions we can't even comprehend.
Exactly. Can we even switch it off at that point if we need to? Those are questions we need answers to before we get there.
Yeah, that's a scary thought. And it makes you think about the ethics of it all too,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
If machines are making decisions that could impact millions, maybe even billions of people, how do we make sure those decisions align with human values?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Your source really hits on this point. Developing ASI responsibly, it's not just about the tech, it's about understanding ethics, human values, the big picture.
So what can WE do? If this intelligence explosion, IS, a possibility, what's our role in all of this?
Well, that's where your source gets really interesting. It outlines some key strategies. It talks about global cooperation, alignment research, and public awareness. These are like the big three for making sure this all goes down responsibly.
Wait, let's break those down a bit. Global cooperation. What does that even look like when we're talking about AI development?
It's recognizing that developing ASI, this isn't some race that one country or company should win. We need global agreements, ethical guidelines that everyone's on board with, research efforts that are collaborative.
Yeah, like a worldwide team effort to make sure AI is developed safely.
Exactly. Think like the agreements we have on nuclear weapons or climate change, but for AI.
Makes sense. This is way too big for any one nation to handle on its own. But what about alignment research? What is that exactly? Sounds like we're trying to teach AI to think like us.
That's the goal. Yeah, making sure AI's goals and values match up with human values, even as it gets smarter than us. It's tricky, no doubt, but the source mentions some promising avenues.
Okay, like how do we even begin to do that? Especially with something that could be so much smarter than us, you know? Like, are we just gonna hand AI a philosophy textbook and hope for the best?
Not quite. One approach is to build AI systems that are like transparent. We can see how they're making decisions, understand their reasoning.
So no black boxes, no mystery algorithms that we just have to trust blindly.
Right. And another approach is to like bake human values into AI from the ground up. There are techniques for this, like inverse reinforcement learning.
Inverse reinforcement learning, that's a mouthful.
It is, but it's pretty cool. Basically, the AI learns by observing human behavior. It tries to figure out our values based on what we do.
So not just programming specific rules, but teaching AI to learn and adapt in a way that reflects our own morality. It's like give AI the freedom to grow, but make sure it doesn't lose sight of what's important to us as humans.
That's a great way to put it. And that's where the public awareness piece comes in.
Public awareness, right. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Because the more people understand AI, the better choices we can make as a society, right?
Exactly. We need open conversations, honest discussions about the potential benefits, 80 the risks. Heck, we should be teaching this stuff in schools. The more people understand AI, the better equipped we are to guide its development.
It's like we need a massive education campaign about AI, kind of like what we've seen with climate change.
100%.
Yeah.
But it's not just zap about awareness, right? There are practical steps we can take, starting NOW, to get ready for this intelligence explosion.
Okay, give me some examples. What can we actually do to prepare?
Well, the source goes into how ASI could impact different parts of our lives. Like, take the economy. If ASI automates a lot of jobs, we need to rethink our whole approach to work and income.
Right, because people still need to make a living, even if robots are doing most of the jobs.
Exactly. So some experts are talking about things like universal basic income.
Yeah.
Everyone gets a guaranteed basic income, regardless of whether they have a job or not.
Interesting. It's a big change from how we do things now.
It is. Or we could focus on retraining people, teaching them skills that are still valuable in an ASI-driven world.
Skills that AI can't replicate, like super creative stuff, maybe.
Right. But we got to be careful.
Oh, absolutely. We can't let this ASI stuff just make the gap between rich and poor even bigger.
Exactly. The source is really clear about this. Fairness and equity are crucial. We got to make sure the benefits of ASI are shared widely. Everyone has access to these AI-powered tools.
It's not just about making cool technology. It's about making sure that technology serves humanity as a whole.
Exactly. And we also got to watch out for bias in these systems.
Bias? How so?
Well, if the data used to train AI is biased, the AI can perpetuate existing inequalities, We need to make sure ASI reflects our values, and that includes fairness and justice for everyone.
So the tech itself is important, but it's more about how we design, deploy, and govern it. Like, We need to have some serious conversations about AI ethics, regulations.
We can't just hope for the best. We got to be proactive.
Hmm.
But you know what? Enough doom and gloom for now.
Okay, I'm game for some optimism.
Let's talk about the truly mind-blowing things ASI could make possible. Your source mentioned some incredible potential breakthroughs: medicine, energy, even space exploration.
Okay, now we're talking. Those are some big, exciting areas. Let's start with medicine. What kind of revolution are we talking about here?
Imagine AI that can diagnose diseases with, like, pinpoint accuracy. And not just diagnose, but design personalized treatments based on your genes, your lifestyle.
Wow. No more one-size-fits-all medicine. It's like having a doctor that knows you inside and out.
Right. It's amazing to think about. Diseases that are currently incurable, things like cancer, Alzheimer's, maybe even aging itself. What if those could be a thing of the past?
Yeah, okay, that's huge. But it raises some ethical questions too, doesn't it?
Of course. Like,
Yeah.
who gets access to these life-extending treatments? What happens to our concept of mortality if we can live much longer, healthier lives?
Those are questions for philosophers, maybe, or ethicists.
Exactly. We'll need to have those conversations.
Mm.
But the potential benefits, they go way beyond healthcare too.
Yeah.
Think about energy. ASI could help us transition to clean, sustainable energy, solve the climate crisis.
Oh, wow. Now that would be a game changer.
Right. And then there's space exploration. What if ASI could help us travel to other stars, discover new worlds?
I mean, that's the stuff of science fiction right now. But with ASI, who knows?
Both exciting and kind of scary, right? The scale of change that ASI could bring. It feels like we're standing on the edge of a new era for humanity.
An era where the very definition of intelligence might need to be rewritten. But as we explore these possibilities, it raises some deep philosophical questions too, doesn't it? Like about the nature of consciousness, the meaning of life.
Absolutely, and that's what makes this topic so fascinating. It's not just about the tech. It's about exploring these fundamental questions that humans have been pondering for centuries.
Right. What does it mean to be human? What is consciousness? What happens to our understanding of these concepts when we're dealing with something that might be more intelligent than us?
We're barely scratching the surface here, and these are huge EE questions.
But you know what? I think it's time we address the elephant in the room.
Okay, what elephant? You got me curious now.
This whole idea of conscious machines, it's something your source touches on, and it's something that a lot of people wonder about. So let's discuss it.
On all ears?
So if AI can learn, create, maybe even think in some ways, does that mean it's conscious, like in the same way we are?
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? And it's one that sparked a lot of debate. We don't even fully understand human consciousness, so defining it in a machine, that's a whole other level of complex.
It is, but it's fascinating to think about. Okay, so let's try to break it down. When we talk about conscious machines, what are we actually talking about? Are we saying these machines have feelings, emotions, souls?
It's important to make a distinction here. Consciousness, sentience. Those aren't the same thing.
Okay, explain that to me.
Sentience is about feeling, perceiving things subjectively, like experiencing joy or pain. Consciousness might be more about self-awareness, knowing you exist, being able to reflect on that.
Got it. So one is about feeling, the other is about knowing.
Exactly. And whether ASI could develop either of those qualities is a big open question, one that some of the brightest minds are grappling with right now.
It's kind of mind-blowing to think about. We're talking about potentially conscious machines, a whole new definition of intelligence, maybe even a shift in what it means to be human. It's a lot to process.
It is. But here's the thing. All this big picture stuff, it might seem abstract. But if this intelligence explosion happens, it's going to impact everyone. Our work, our learning, how we connect with each other, even how we think about ourselves.
It's like a ripple effect, touching every part of our lives.
Exactly. But as we said before, we're not just passive bystanders here. We have choices to make, and those choices are going to shape this future.
So what can we do, both as individuals and as a society? How do we make sure this future with ASI is a good one?
The source stresses this isn't about stopping progress. It's about steering it in the right direction. And it starts with open, honest conversations about AI, its potential, the risks. We need to educate ourselves, teach future generations about what's at stake.
Education is key, for sure. But what else can we do? What are some concrete actions we can take to get ready for this?
We need to support research on AI safety, develop systems that are aligned with our values, that we can understand and control. We need global cooperation on this stuff, ethical guidelines that everyone follows. It's a big task, no doubt, but it's also an incredible opportunity.
An opportunity to shape the future, not just for us, but for generations to come. It's a lot of responsibility, though.
It is. And we need to remember this deep dive, it's just a starting point. There's so much more to learn, explore, stay curious, ask questions, never stop learning. This is just the beginning of the conversation.
You've given us a lot to think about today, that's for sure. So to everyone listening, keep those minds curious, keep diving deep, and who knows, maybe you'll be the one to unlock the next breakthrough in AI. Until next time, folks.
Picking up where we left off, it's fascinating to think about how ASI could change our whole understanding of intelligence, even consciousness. It really makes you rethink our place in the universe, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a real head trip. I mean, encountering something potentially more intelligent than us, it's humbling, but also kind of terrifying.
Totally. Some people see it as a threat, like we're losing our special status as the smartest beings around. Others, though, they see it as this incredible opportunity to learn and grow.
Yeah, I can see both sides. Imagine what we could learn from a super intelligent AI. It'd be like tapping into this vast ocean of knowledge, right?
Exactly. But it also makes you wonder if ASI can think, learn, even create, does that make it conscious the way humans are?
That's the big question, isn't it? And honestly, I don't even know if we have the answer yet.
We don't even fully understand human consciousness, so trying to define it in a machine, that's a whole other level of complexity.
Right. It's like, what are the criteria for consciousness? How do we even measure that?
Some experts think consciousness might just emerge from really complex systems. So it's not impossible that ASI could develop consciousness as it evolves.
Wow. So we're talking about machines that are not only super intelligent, but maybe even self-aware. That's a lot to wrap your head around.
It is. But let's be clear, we're talking about possibilities here, not certainties. And even the word consciousness, we got to be careful with it. It means different things to different people.
Right. Like, are we talking about machines having feelings, emotions, even souls? That's getting into some deep philosophical territory.
And that's where we need to make that distinction between consciousness and sentience.
Sentience. Okay, you're going to have to explain that one to me.
Sure. Sentience is about the ability to feel, to experience things subjectively, like joy, pain, those kinds of things.
Okay, so sentience is about feeling. What about consciousness, then?
Consciousness might be more about self-awareness, knowing that you exist, reflecting on your own being.
Got it. So one is about feeling, the other is about knowing. And we're not even sure if humans have figured out either one of those fully, right? Let alone trying to replicate them in machines.
Exactly. It's a huge ongoing debate. But even with all the uncertainty, we can't ignore the potential impact of ASI on, well, everything.
Right. This isn't just some abstract thought experiment. This stuff could change the world as we know it. Our jobs, how we learn, our relationships, our whole understanding of what it means to be human.
It's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
And I know some people listening might be thinking, okay, this is all very interesting, but what does it have to do with me? And it's a fair question.
Yeah, how does this potentially conscious, super intelligent AI actually affect the average person's life?
Here's the thing. This intelligence explosion, if it happens, it's not just going to impact certain industries or professions. It's going to be everywhere.
Yeah.
It'll touch every aspect of our lives. How we work, how we interact with each other, even how we think about ourselves and our place in the world.
It's like a ripple effect, spreading outwards from the central point of technological change. But as you said before, we're not powerless in this process. We have agency, we have choices to make.
Absolutely. The decisions we make now will shape the future of AI and, in turn, the future of humanity.
So what can we do? Individually, collectively? How do we make sure this future is one we actually want to live in?
The source makes it clear this isn't about stopping progress. It's about guiding it responsibly. We need to have open, honest conversations about AI, its potential benefits, and its risks. We need to educate ourselves, our kids.
Knowledge is power, right? The more we understand, the better choices we can make.
Exactly. But beyond education, we also need to advocate for robust safety research, making sure these AI systems are aligned with our values, are transparent so we can understand them, and are controllable even as they get smarter.
It's like giving AI the tools to thrive, but also setting boundaries, making sure it serves humanity, not the other way around.
A perfect analogy. And it's going to take a global effort, real collaboration, on a scale we haven't seen before. But it's possible. We've come together as a species to tackle big challenges in the past.
And this might be the biggest challenge yet, but hey, maybe it's also the most exciting.
I think so. This deep dive, it's really just scratched the surface of this whole AI thing.
We've just dipped our toes in the water.
Exactly. There's a whole ocean out there to explore. So stay curious, ask questions, and never stop learning. This is just the beginning of an incredible journey.
A journey into the future of intelligence and maybe even the future of consciousness itself. And you know what? I'm excited to see where it takes us. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone. Until next time, keep those minds curious and keep exploring the world around you.